What's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for the second last episode of Better Call Saul Season 1. This is for Better Call Saul Season 1, Episode 9, which is called Pimento. Okay, and spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen Pimento yet, you definitely want to watch it before you watch this recap review. So I wasn't really sure if you guys saw my review for episode 8, where they were kind of going with the rest of the season, where it was going to end up, and what this new kind of setup with the retirement home was going to be for, what was going to happen with it. So man, with this one, I was pretty blown away at the end of it. As you're watching it, as you're going through, you see Chuck pick up the phone. You know he's making a call, which, of course, as Jimmy says, must have been really, really difficult for him to do, since he can't even be near cell phones. Who did he call? What did he do? It was pretty obvious that he contacted someone from HHM. Was it going to be Kim? Was it going to be Hamlin himself? And sort of who is Chuck loyal to? So at the end of the episode, of course, we had an incredibly touching, saddening moment, very emotional, I would say, for Saul, for Jimmy, for Jim McGill. Because what happens is, as you guys got to see, he finds out that his brother is actually the cause for a lot of what's happening to him with regards to Hamlin McGill, and why he was never made partner, why he never has been recognized. And it's not just because Hamlin doesn't like him. Like, we know that Hamlin doesn't like him. We know that. We're aware of that. We know the two of them kind of butt heads. Well, Hamlin is... He is kind of your atypical the man type character. He is your not every boss is like that. There's some really cool bosses out there. But he's kind of one of those a-hole bosses that, and we can see it when he's talking to Kim too, and the things he asks her to do and the things that he does. He's very cutthroat is a word I want to use. And a lot of well-established businessmen are like that in the real world too. Extremely cutthroat people, where they really don't care too much about other people. They're really just trying to reach their bottom line. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there like that. And Hamlin is one of those. He just cares about getting that bottom line, and he's also, because of Chuck is his senior, or at least in terms of age, and Chuck helped build the company, as he's kind of a good loyal lawyer, good loyal employee, so to speak, that helped build it into what it is. You have this relationship between them, and Chuck, what we found out in this one, has actually been sabotaging Jimmy in terms of that company, in terms of Jimmy's ability to do anything big himself, really. In this case, for example, Chuck brings up the idea that they have to give it over to Hamlin McGill, when they don't have to do that. They don't have to include them with it. He could now, as he did say, that they could get just drowned in paperwork, and it could get timed out forever until so much work ahead of them that they wouldn't be able to complete it all, because it's a big job that you need a whole team for. But there are always other options. They could have taken the deal prior with the lawyers for the retirement home. They could have possibly gone to another firm or somebody else, or looked for a deal with someone else. But of course, Chuck is still loyal to Hamlin and to the company that he worked his life for, and he wants to bring them into the picture, as he does. So we see that go through, and then at the end here, we basically see that Jimmy figures out that Chuck had actually made that call prior, that we saw earlier on in the episode, to Hamlin to sabotage him. And what seems to me, the only way I can break it down to see it, is in the end it is a sibling rivalry between the two. It is an ego thing for Chuck. Even in his old age, he wants Jimmy, and you see this a lot in real life too with people. People are interesting with regards to success and with regards to doing things. You'll see this a lot in the real world too. People are happy when you're successful to a degree. But if you become as successful as them, or more so, that can a lot of times transform. And what we saw with Chuck in this episode is that he's okay with Jimmy doing his own little thing and taking care of himself and being able to help him out and take care of Chuck. But he will not view him as a peer, and he will sabotage him preemptively, in order to prevent that from happening, even though Chuck has enough pull by himself to get him in there if he wanted to. So really we find out in this episode at the end, which was a great twist, is that actually Hamlin is not really the one keeping Jimmy from becoming a partner with the company, like a big lawyer, a big person in Hamlin McGill, which he probably should be since he's Chuck's brother. But Chuck is actually the one that won't allow it. Pretty messed up, man. Pretty messed up when he finds it out at the end, and it's kind of revealed to us, and we see Chuck's response to that. That yes, it's true that he's basically sabotaged him and can't see him as anything else but a guy in the mailroom who just works at a job. And it's like an inferiority. He wants to see him in an inferior position as him being the smart, older, bigger brother that looks after his younger brother, takes care of him. But to a degree, and then the other part of it is that he wants to see himself as superior to his younger sibling brother, and will not allow him to change, and kind of that old school thinking whether or not people can really change over time, which of course they can, but a lot of people are kind of like, they kind of look at it as people can't really change as a whole, and it's kind of this competitive rivalry between Chuck and Jimmy, where he will never allow him to be on his level. Happy for him to a degree, but won't allow him to be on the same level. Will sabotage. So that's pretty messed up, if you ask me. Now the part about the real law degree or not, it's everybody's different. Even if someone's in the same position as somebody else, doesn't make them equal. And that's the way I view it too. And it was pretty well. You can kind of understand from Chuck's point of view that he went to a more accredited university and everything like that. But in the market too, it has to do a lot with what can a person do rather than just what they've done in school and all that. In the market, what can they do? Jimmy is very clever, and he's very, even to find the case, he is extremely street smart, clever. He's extremely clever with regards to situations and making choices and that. And this episode was a little bit hard to watch at the end for him, if you're a big fan of him, as I am, because not only did Chuck kind of sabotage him, but Kim also did too, or to a degree she kind of did, or at least it felt like from his perspective that she did. Especially when she went to meet with him, and beforehand speaking up for him with Hamlin, and then the close the door thing after Hamlin was being such a jerk, and then she comes and she's basically taking Hamlin's side. She's not explaining to Jimmy. Now that could be because of her knowing. Maybe Hamlin told her that Chuck was the one who told him no, that Jimmy's going to screw up, he's going to mess up. But no matter what the case is with that, with the situation, still for them not to even give Jimmy a chance is pretty messed up. It's like functional fixedness for a person. They've got this idea of who that person is. They won't change. They can't change, and also the sibling rivalry part of it. So wow, what just an emotional ending. Very sad for Jimmy, for Saul, and you always wonder, kind of in Breaking Bad, why did we never see Kim, or if they had a relationship or something, why did we never see her in it? Because she was never in the show, right? And we're kind of seeing now why a lot of these characters are not in Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad after Better Call Saul. So all of that was really, really well done, man. Really sad, really emotional, and felt like a season finale type thing for me, because it was such a twist that I just didn't see coming. I didn't see that Chuck was sabotaging him, and due to that sibling, kind of rivalry of him always wanting to be better than his little brother, who's kind of, he views as like imitating him or something, right? Never be on his same level, right? He won't allow it. So pretty messed up. In addition to that, we had the great scene with Mike. Really loved that a lot. It was Nacho who was the one who was buying. So that was funny, and him doing his homework and kind of knowing who they were getting in business with. Again, just a lot of the experience and intelligence of Mike prior to the situation, just having everything mapped out and knowing everything, and not really understanding that, you need to do your homework first in order to succeed, right? Because you need to know who you're getting in with, who you're making a deal with, because that will tell you what you can kind of expect and what kind of situation they're in. So really good stuff. So I liked all of that, especially like the part with the guy who reminded me of Jim Carrey's character in Kick-Ass 2, where he wears the pants. He's really goofy. He's got like all these guns everywhere, like this huge gun, like this big, you know, and Mike just takes it away from him like it's nothing, and knocks it down. Just loved it. That was a really funny scene. So in terms of score for this episode, lead up to the finale, this one did, especially in the last 10 minutes. Really made you feel like this is the finale, and it was really, it had a lot of real world themes that a lot of people get, and with dealing with, bosses and things like that, where a lot of times in real life people want to get promoted, or they want to become partner if they're a lawyer, or who knows what, and maybe there's just a manager that has an idea of who this person is or something, and will never allow them to ascend or to move up or whatever. Just has them figured out and won't allow them to change. So I had a lot of those themes. Then we found out that a lot of that was coming from Chuck. And wow, crazy stuff. Because it's true, if Chuck really wanted to, he could, he could force it. We'll see if Jimmy can do something creative in the finale, like contact the lawyers for the retirement home and say, listen, here's what I'm going to do. Here's the deal that Hamlin's going to give me. I'm going to give it to them, and they're going to beat you. They're going to win. Or you can settle with me now, as this being my case, and we can close this here, or something like that. But that said, now that Hamlin knows about it, will they be able to find something on them and do it anyway? I guess we'll have to see how it goes, and have they opened Pandora's box, so to speak. Really excited to see what happens at the finale. Love this episode. Going to give it one of the highest scores I've given for Better Call Saul so far. I'm going to give it a solid 9.6 out of 10. Thought it was amazing episode, really touching, climactic, and I didn't see it coming. And that's what I like the most about it, is that I didn't see it coming. It kind of, I knew he made the phone call, but I didn't see it until after, boom, it hit me at the end when Jimmy said it. That was that was something. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. I thought it was great. Of course, the finale next week. Review will be posted, a day after. And if you liked this video, guys, write your comments below on what you thought of the episode. But if you like this video, please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, please share it, please favorite it. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, all you have to do is click there to subscribe, and you'll get my reviews for Better Call Saul for every episode. That's it for this one, guys. See you for the next one. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.